at the end of the war, we had to police the island. So we went to, there's a peninsula in Okinawa, and we went up to that peninsula, the division, and we walked from there all the way to the north end of the island. And we did pick up a lot of loose Japanese and whatnot as we were doing that. And when we did that, we stopped one night in a little area, and it was kind of like a little promontory, almost like a little island, and about 600 yards away was a road cut out of the side of a ridge, I guess you'd say. And the reason I remember that particular place, that all my life I've been kind of outspoken, and I ended up being the guy that would put out the grenade system that we used every night to protect ourselves, since we didn't have the barbed wire. We would take a sea ration can, put a grenade in there, and pull the pin so that when you pulled the grenade on, it was going to go off. And then we would string the wire out and put those out. And so if I ever captured anybody through that process, I always got the responsibility of disposing of the bodies, digging little graves and stuff. And I remember in that place they had a benjo. A Japanese benjo is their toilet. And you don't sit on it, you squat over it, and you do whatever it is that you're going to do. And it was in a little teeny hut that was there. After the war, I went back, and my company commander, during the time on Okinawa, was also stationed on Okinawa. So we did a tour of the battlefield. And we went back to that particular area, and the only thing you could recognize was the benjo. The benjo was still there. But so we were able to find a spot that we had actually fought on, or not really fought there. I had another experience on Okinawa. During the battle, we were near the northern end of the island, and it was near the end of the battle. And the Japanese did what they called a Kamikaze attack. And they come at you with everything they've got. And they literally broke through our 165th infantry, 106th infantry, got all the way back to the artillery. We were on a ridge that ran down the center of the island, and they were going in a lower area down below. I was the radio operator for the company commander, but we were observing all of this. And some machine guns came up, and they were firing at the guys as they were going back. My assistant, who helped me carry my 38-pound radio, had the same rifle that I had used, so that I knew the zero. And it was this little small pine tree there. Again, I had my field glasses that I always carried, that I took from dead motormen. So I said, hey, give me the rifle, and let's see if we can shoot at somebody down there. I knew what my rifle setting was, sight setting for 200 yards, was 8 clicks of elevation, and I think maybe 2 clicks right for windage to get it to do right. And I gave him the field glasses. I always fired tracers. Now, people worried about tracers, but tracers are not visible till they get out of ways. You can see where the tracer goes. It's very difficult for them to find the originating spot, so I never worried about that. And so I got my tracers, and I took my rifle, and I got it in a little wedge between the tree and my helmet so that I could hold it steady, and started firing. And we started adjusting sights. You could not dig a normal foxhole on these islands, because you couldn't dig down, you'd run into coral. What you'd do is we dig what we call a slit trench, just dig as far as we could and then put coral around. So I could look down, and I could see a slit trench, and I could see a Japanese soldier in that thing. And the reason that I could see him is the sun would glint on his helmet. Even though it was painted OD, it still would glint a little bit. And the Marines were down there with flamethrowers burning up houses and everything, but this guy would come up, and you'd see him kind of look like that. And so I said, let's try and get after him. Well, to make a long story short, we kept it, and it wasn't any wind, so it wasn't a big problem. We kept adjusting, and I would fire. Finally, I got to where it was right at his slit trench, and the sand or whatever was there kind of spotted, so we knew we were real close. And he would come up, and then you'd fire, and he'd go down. Well, finally he came up, and I fired, and the guy said, I think you got him. He went down and he never came up. Now, I don't have any idea whether I killed that guy or not, but we never did see him come up again, and we figure out that I had 28 clicks of elevation on my rifle. We surmised that it was about 800 yards, and this is before you had telescopic sights and whatnot. So to me, that was an interesting experience because of I had always fired on rifle teams when I was a ROTC. I was on the rifle team when I was in basic training. The colonels would come and observe me and all that kind of junk, and so I'm pretty confident that I killed a guy, for whatever that's worth.